Now folks, this is Bugs, and I wanted to show my friend Donna how he's doing. And the other day, I got to clear the desk once again. The other day somebody mentioned when they watched this horse he was bobbing his head. Well, I did in fact mention that I was transitioning to this bit, and if you watch the video today, just see how often he bobs his head. And I guess the moral of the story is that he felt he needed to, because he still hasn't relaxed his tongue completely. And I think what they do is they try everything they need to do to protect themselves, and then it dawns on them they don't have to do it anymore, and they quit doing it. So I don't do anything about a horse bobbing their head unless it's their teeth. And he's getting it figured out. And he's transitioning from being ridden like he was in Mexico a million miles to my body. Now watch my left foot. There's the turn. I'm helping him with my hand. Now I look, put my right foot on, and it's very subtle and it takes a while, but he'll get where he'll do really nice. Now he's like most of them horses out of Baja. You put a cow in front of him, all you got to do is get out of their way. Now if I haven't showed you, I want to show you a little something about a horse like this. He bridles up nice, but he doesn't back up very good. Well, if he was tied off to a cow, he would stand there and hold weight all day, and he'd back up if it gave him a hard time. But they don't really get it. Like, why would I back up just standing here? But I want to show you. You take your hand and put a circle around the rein, and make sure the bottom of your hand is touching the mane. Now you pull your rein with your right hand, and when they move, you give it back. Now he gets time to figure this out. I'm going to use my legs to bring the life up in him. But as he steps, I just release. Now if you've got a horse that's standing on its head, this doesn't work. But when you get one that bridles up nice like this one, it does work. So then eventually I quit pulling with my right hand, I just close my left hand. When you're done with that exercise, you should hear the cricket. So for those of you that have a horse like this, it might be a good way for you to feel comfortable about teaching them how to back up off your hand. At the same time, you're setting up your body like I've showed you. So, anyway, this video is actually about the Tarp and the Flag. And there's a man got a hold of us from down Mississippi, and he's got a colt that's real troubled, especially in the right eye, I guess, about a flag. And I mentioned the word colt. Well, this is not a colt. But I want to show you where you need to end up. Because if you happen to have a colt that's real bothered about something like that, well, instead of riding them, you got to get that taken care of. Because he also mentioned that he was hard to turn to the right. And anyway, obviously there's a brace in the right side. Now, if it's not anatomical, then it can be fixed by rubbing them all over with the flag. And what I do on a horse like this is I draw the outline of him. I go right into the blind spot, right over the top of the head, down the other side, and just draw the horse. This is a Tom Dorrance thing. And it kind of makes sense when you think about it. And now, if you have a touchy horse, this horse isn't touchy. You just take the grocery bag or your high-grade tarp and don't even have a handle on it and just rub the horse all over with it before you do this. You know, you got to do it in increments. But this is me checking the horse out. Now, I've also mentioned it before. It's all wonderful that they stand. But you got to be able to do this with their feet moving, because you might get surprised. And when I get ready to get on, now, I didn't put this on this horse. It was already here. All I'm doing is showing my friend Donna how he is about a flag and a tarp. He came this way. Wasn't nothing I did. So horseback, you want to get right straight in the middle. And on a touchy horse, you really need to make sure you know where this flag is. And I hate to be Captain Obvious, but we've seen it 1,000 times. If things start to fall apart, let go of the flag. Okay. So now you got a horse left and right, separates, understands he's fine. You see how hard I'm pulling on him, and I don't want to be redundant, but you notice he's not bobbing his head in this bridle anymore. He sorted that out himself. That was up to him to figure out, not me. And I already told you I've drug calves off him, and you saw me rope him, so it's not like he's troubled. Now this is just a piece of rope with a piece of tarp on it. So that right eye thing, in time you'll get to where he'll walk right over it. You can pick it up in the right eye and then come back and cross over to the left eye. And this horse is what I consider done. And now here's the other side of the coin I'd like to share with you. I've seen it on this, what's them Fords called? Oh yeah, Mustangs. The makeover deal. Somebody will ride a horse with a 50-foot square tarp with it hanging over their head, and they walk around the ring shooting off a gun. Okay. There is another side to this, getting them good about stuff. That's when you get them brain dead. If you get a horse brain dead, you're going to die. They're scared, spooky, and then there's brain dead. So if you do things so much that they are cold to it, and the best example I can give you is when you scatter bulls in the spring, that's probably one of the most dangerous times that you'll ever do on a ranch. And if you don't have a horse that you can get out of the way really quick, as in why we all wear spurs, and we don't have a horse that's brain dead, a horse that will react to your energy, then you're going to get hurt bad. And if you ever do the math on two bulls, one T-boning another one, and then they hit you on your horse, it ain't pretty. And everybody has a bull story kicking out bulls. Now, gathering after the breeding season, all you need is a pack of cigarettes for them, they're fine. But anyway, I want you to understand that you don't make them so darn brain dead that they can't react. That's dangerous. So, now, here's the homework for some of you. You got a horse that's transitioning to a bit. So now you hold your hand like you're going to hold your Romal rein. You look to your left, and then you look to your right. And oh, by the way, take your leg with you. Now you keep looking to the right, and you bring your horse with you. Now you look to the left, and you take your horse with you. Now, somebody else made a comment about you could cook tortillas on my saddle horn. Well, that is probably true. Now, I've been around vaqueros that'll dally on a brass horn the diameter of your thumb, and they'll stack 7 dallies on it plus slide with a riata. So that's pretty impressive. I've also been around Charles that got a dinner platter for a horn, and they'll dally once, twice, 5, whatever it takes, and they all do just fine. One of the ways for me to find out about your saddle horn is after 50 years, just count your fingers. That'll kind of explain where you're at. Now, the physics of it, you got to get somebody like my nephew to explain it to it, and he'll tell you about the diameter of the horn, pressure, words that I don't even know what he's talking about, but there's a matter of physics involved here. I'm checking and releasing, and my right leg is tapping, and now I'm looking forward, and oh, by the way, now my left leg is tapping, and I'm setting my hand on the saddle horn. It's one of the reasons for that big horn. I can set my hand on here now. Now I want to go that way. So now I can start getting a quiet hand and testing where I'm at. Now this is very subtle, and this is a 11-year-old gelding. It's been rode 1,000,000 miles. I'm trying to get a nice, balanced ride out of this horse. And my partner up north, she's going to do just fine on this horse, because he's not under duress. He's not bothered. So, anyway, I guess get your foundation done before you get too carried away. And this turning thing, spinning a horse shows balance. But in a ranch situation, spinning a horse means either A, you can't decide which way you want to go, or B, you're showing off. And as a cowboy told me one time, he said, you know, you're supposed to train them at home. And that means be very quiet in the corrals. You don't need to be spinning a horse and acting like a fool in a corral. Everybody knows you're a hell of a hand from the wrist down. So I'm done preaching. Thank you. Goodbye.